GGRC.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of GGRC. I'm RC, and today I have a very special episode for you. We're going to be talking about E3 2018. It's kind of the talk of the town. Everybody is getting into it right now because it's about to happen. And this is special because I actually have a special guest with me, AJ from Vidoe Chums. How are you, sir?
Hello, I'm doing good.
How
you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's been a long day, long week, but hey, you know, that's life, right?
Yeah.
So, AJ, tell us a little bit about Vidoe Chums and where you're from.
Well, I'm from Vidoe Chums. We put up game reviews and top 10 lists about retro and modern video games. Yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah, the site is really cool, guys. You definitely want to check out Vidoe Chums because they put up a ton of reviews. AJ, I think you are honestly one of the hardest working review writers I've seen because you put up reviews constantly. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm constantly playing games.
Yeah,
so that's fun, I guess.
Yeah, I see your Twitter posts up there, and it's just like, here's another review, here's another review, here's another review. I can barely keep up. It's crazy, but that's awesome, man. Yeah, you might be one of the hardest working game guys in Canada, so just putting it out there.
Well, Canadians are pretty lazy, so.
But yeah, thanks for joining me, AJ. You know, I don't normally have any guests on the show, so this is a pretty special thing for me to actually have somebody to talk to on here. It's usually me blabbing to myself, so it's nice to have someone to bounce off of, which is great.
Yeah, and I'm just a figment of your imagination too, so.
Very well could be the case. It's my imaginary friend from Canada.
Hello.
But hey, let's jump into, before we jump into sort of what's going on for 2018, because there are a few things to talk about, a few things that are unique for this year. Wanted to talk a little bit about the history of E3, like our personal history, maybe some memories you might have of like some of your favorite E3 announcements or moments or jokes or anything like that came up. I could definitely start it off if you like. So in the 90s, I actually used to do a hosted site for a game. It's a little embarrassing to talk about because this is not a game series that anybody cares about in any way, shape, or form. But you remember Ty the Tasmanian Tiger? Does that bring up any memory whatsoever?
Oh yeah, that game's awesome. I have the whole trilogy on Xbox.
No kidding. Okay, great. I really thought that I was going to get some flack, like, why did you play that? But
no, that's great.
Yeah, I actually was a big fan of that series, and when the first game came out, I had never heard of it. I hadn't seen any advertising for it or anything. I kind of saw it up on a shelf for $20 at a local store. So I was like, I'm addicted to 3D platformers, so I'm gonna grab a copy of this and see how it goes. Because I picked up every 3D platformer back then, like Vex, Dr. Muto, like whatever whatever I could find.
I know those.
Yeah, some were better than others, but hey. That was the GameCube era, I guess. But so anyway, I actually had a fan site for Ty on GameSpy when they used to allow that kind of thing. And at the time, they actually invited people who were doing fan sites to go to E3. But I at the time, I think I was only 15 or 16 years old, so I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to swing this because I'm a minor and everything like that. So I was always bummed because that was my only time that I've ever actually had an invite to go to E3, and I've always wanted to go. How about you? Have you ever had the chance or have ever gone?
Well, I've been invited the past few years, but I've never been yet. I don't know. There's always something happening. Like this year, I'm going to England. I don't know. I hope to go sometime in the future. That's for sure.
It would be a lot of fun. You know, past recent years, I would say E3 doesn't seem to have like the same sort of cachet it used to have. It doesn't seem as exciting as it used to. I don't. Maybe that's just
yeah.
me.
And they let the general public in now too. It's not just press anymore.
I heard about that. I think the first year was last year that they started doing that, or maybe the year before.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it sounds like neither of us have really gone before, which is interesting. I'm not sure nowadays that it would be really, you know, in my best interest to go or if I'd really be super interested. It was something I really wanted to do maybe, 10 to 15 years ago. But nowadays it just doesn't seem as exciting because, this sort of leads us to the next topic we wanted to talk about. But I'm sort of dubbing this year as, and you can tell me if this is clever or not, but I'm calling it Leak E3. Leak E3. What does that work?
Yeah, and threes are leaking.
It's terrible. Like every year has had E3, games, or every E3 every year has had games leak out beforehand, so people knew, kind of had a general idea what was going to come out, and then some were totally busted rumors that never came to fruition, and other things were dead on. You're like, oh yeah, we knew from the start. But this year has been really, really unique. I feel like some companies have been purposely kind of leaking, and this might be conspiracy theory in my head, RC's conspiracy corner, but it feels like they've been kind of throwing it out there and then releasing trailers early so that way people can get excited for it early, and I may be completely off on that.
I bet that you're right.
Because just for example, like one of the games that was a supposed leak was Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and it was just kind of funny because they're like, oh, this game leaked before E3. They weren't supposed to show it before E3. But just a couple of weeks ago, they had like a big press conference and they did a presentation, and I was like, wait a minute, they had all this prepared. So there's no way this was like a real leak. This was just a thing they put out there and said it, quote unquote, in E3 leak. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a spur of the moment presentation that they did.
Yeah, spur of the moment with like everything completely planned out and run and like went to a T and everything. So yeah, I'm sure that was slapped
$1 million ads and trailers and stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the same thing happened with Battlefield 5 the next week. So I don't know. I some of it I don't quite buy, and Rage 2 might be the only one that I do buy. That was one that did leak because of I don't know if you heard, AJ, but there was the big Walmart leak thing where Walmart put up a bunch of entries or listings, and everybody was like, are these real games? Are these fake games? What is this? And Rage 2 happened to be one of those games. This one they didn't have a presentation for. They just said kind of like, all right, everybody found out. Here's a trailer. We were going to show this at E3. We'll show you more there. So that could be a real one. I don't really know. To me, the rumors and the leaks and the actual planned leaks, they all seem to kind of roll together.
Yeah. What is Rage, by the way? Is that a first-person shooter?
Yeah, so Rage is, we'll say Rage 2, I said this in a trailer reaction video that I did, but Rage 2 is the sequel that nobody asked for. Rage was a first-person shooter that came out, I think it was 2010, 2011, somewhere around that, but it was supposed to be id Software's, the guys who make Doom and Quake. It was supposed to be their return to form, like, oh my god, they're making another first-person shooter and it has next-gen graphics. And it wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't great either. It was kind of mediocre all the way through.
Yeah, I find it weird that all these games are first-person shooters.
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
Maybe they're leaking them all because they're all so similar. They're just like, let's get these out of the way.
And that's a really good point, AJ, because Black Ops 4 and Battlefield 5, I guess, are direct competition, so it makes sense that they'd be competing with each other to release trailers at the exact same time and have presentations a week apart from each other as well. Yeah, about the only two games that are questionable leaks, in my opinion, were Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Fallout 76. So those two were sort of just like leaked out, like, here's a teaser trailer. And I don't know if they honestly were going to wait until E3 for that, or if they just wanted to get people excited, like, don't worry, there'll be Assassin's Creed 15 this year. I'm not sure.
Is that Assassin's Creed game where you have that magic hat that you could use to transform into monsters?
That would be great, wouldn't it? You could like throw it on a guard or something, and then it's like, oh, now I can be the guard.
Yeah, Cappy. That's what it's called.
That is interesting to decide to go with that name, Odyssey, right after Mario and everything. So some of the games that are actually set for an actual rumor, games they haven't revealed yet that people are kind of rabidly waiting for. There is supposedly a new Star Fox Grand Prix game coming out for the Switch, which might be kind of cool. It's supposed to be Star Fox meets F-Zero, which, you know, we haven't had a new F-Zero game in quite some time, so that might be pretty fun.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
But I guess it begs the question, like, why not just do an F-Zero game? I don't know.
Maybe Captain Falcon will be in it.
That would be fun. He'll probably be like an unlockable character somewhere in there. That would be pretty sweet to see him again. But the one that all the kids are going to be very excited for, AJ, it's a new game on the Switch. It's the most popular game out right now. You want to take a guess?
Fart Night?
Fart Night, that's right. It is coming to the Switch, supposedly. And that is what everybody is talking about right now. And I don't know if you've played Fortnite.
Yeah, I actually covered it before like anybody did. Like back then, people were just saying it's a PUBG ripoff and all this.
Right.
And people just didn't like it. And now it's the biggest game. So it's pretty funny how that turned out.
It's insane, isn't it? I did the same thing. I remember when the beta for the Battle Royale version came out, and I actually played the beta of the PvE version too, the like tower defense. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, yeah, I did that too.
Fun. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
And then they changed focus because, you know, for whatever reason, changed to Battle Royale. And I did the same thing. The beta was out. I played a few rounds. I was like, yeah, it's okay. It's PUBG. It's a more cartoony PUBG. Then for some reason, it just took off and became this amazing new thing that everybody had to play.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how that happens.
It's really strange how that happens. Like, I don't know what, you know, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, though. Perfect place, perfect timing, you know, to really to hit that, to get to that point, to become the game that everybody wants to play and wants to talk about. I guess it didn't hurt that it was free on, I think it's free to play on PS4 too, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I got the Founders Pack or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this reminds me of Minecraft 2, which wasn't an original game. Like, it was basically a ripoff of Infiniminer. But that took off, and then nobody's heard of Infiniminer.
Yeah, I can honestly say I've never heard of Infiniminer myself. Is that actually by the same company, or is that somebody else? Minecraft sort of ripped it off.
Yeah, Minecraft totally ripped it off.
Wow. I've heard the same thing about Angry Birds, which was another gigantic game, and I heard that was a ripoff of somebody else's Flash game. Oh,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but that's what I've heard. It's all hearsay, folks. I don't know for sure. I don't want to commit slander here or anything, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, so there you go. Fortnite is PUBG, Minecraft is Infiniminer, Angry Birds is whatever the heck that was. So if you want to make it in the business, you got to rip off people.
That's right. Keep that in mind, kids. If you're looking to succeed, rip off people. Is that good advice or bad advice? I can't tell at this point.
Depends if you want the cash money or not.
One of the other games that people are looking forward to seeing, and it has not been confirmed, but the rumors that they're showing it, is the Cyberpunk 2077. Now, this is a huge game because it's from the same company who brought us the Witcher series. And The Witcher 3 was a gigantic game that came in, more ways than one. Sales, and quite literally, it was gigantic. Huge game by CD Projekt Red. And I don't know if you had a chance to play that game, AJ, but it was a pretty awesome RPG.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm too intimidated to play it.
I can definitely understand. There's however many hours into that game. I had a friend of mine who played it, and I believe he's a pretty casual gamer. He plays a few hours a week, but I think he played that for a straight year, and he said, like, yeah, I still haven't finished it. So that says a lot about it. I think I played about 20 hours of it, and I kind of fell off it myself. But regardless, it's a really beautiful game. It's really cool. So people are looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077 because they want to see what exactly this is going to be. If it's going to be, The Witcher 3, but in a cyberpunk universe. And to me, that sounds pretty interesting because I've always liked this sort of futuristic cyber look.
So that's like an original IP then?
As far as I know, it's supposed to be a completely original thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Yeah, not bad. And of course, there is a slew of rumors for new sequels, but of course, the sequel rumors could go on and on forever. You could say there's a new anything coming out. So there's supposedly a new Splinter Cell, a new Gears of War, a new Just Cause, new Borderlands 3, new Mortal Kombat. But I mean, for me personally, I'm not as excited about sequels because I mean, sequels are always going to come, you know.
Yeah, I think Splinter Cell would be awesome. There hasn't been a new one in a long time, right?
I guess that's a good point. Splinter Cell hasn't had a new game, and God, what was the last one? It's had to have been at least like probably 8 years or so since one has come out. I know there is one sequel to a series though that I would absolutely adore them releasing a new one for, and that's Prince of Persia. I don't know that they're going to be announcing a Prince of Persia anytime soon while Assassin's Creed is still, you know, making money, but I really wish they would because I kind of miss that series.
Yeah, that'll be pretty fun.
Prince
I
of
think
Persia.
that the same people are doing what's it called, Assassin's Creed, so maybe they gave up on Prince of Persia.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the original house that built Prince of Persia, or at least the Ubisoft versions of it, I believe they Assassin's Creed was supposed to be their next opus, and that's certainly what it's become with however many games it's had now. Jeez, I think it's seriously, they must have at least 10 different Assassin's Creed games at this point, right?
Yeah, they should make a cyberpunk game instead.
I'd be into it. Bring it on.
It'll be the new thing. Everybody just does that.
If you know, if the Cyberpunk 2077 sells as well as The Witcher 3 does, you know, I'm sure that will happen for sure. Everyone, hey, again, rip them off, kids. Make that money.
That's what it's all about.
So, did you hear any rumors, AJ, that you might be sort of excited to hear if it comes true or anything like that?
Well, a lot of people are talking about PlayStation 5. I'm not really sure I want that yet. But other than that, I haven't really heard anything.
Yeah, I find it interesting, the console stuff, because last year we literally just got the Xbox One X, and I think last year was when the PlayStation Pro came out, right?
Yeah, either last year or the year before. I don't know.
It's still pretty recent. It's pretty insane to me that people already want, like, when's PlayStation 5 coming out? It's like, good Lord, my friend, just enjoy what you have right now.
But when you look at the difference between like NES and Super NES and then Super NES and PlayStation, like it's like night and day. But then like the difference between PS3 and PS4 is barely anything.
Yeah, one of the big things I could say between the two is, you know, frame rate. If you're a frame rate hog like I am, I could definitely tell the difference between 30 and 60. And I over the years, becoming you can't see it, but I'm twirling my mustache, a PC snob. I kind of can't live without 60 frames per second at this point. But a lot of PS4 games have that, which is really cool. But I think you're completely right. Like, graphics-wise, like, things still look pretty damn good. You know, things look lifelike, and I know that there's things that they can improve upon. Like, I know HDR is a big thing for people with, like, 4K TVs.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have a 4K TV myself. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I got one a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I don't really make use of it because I don't have a PS4 Pro or a Xbox One X, but I got a 4K Blu-ray player, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, those high def movies, man.
Yeah, I think I have like one or two of them.
I like that. Yeah, the interesting thing about 4K is it really felt like they're pushing it like way too early, because 4K TVs have been available for quite a few years now, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But for some reason, like, it still hasn't exactly caught on. Like, my dad actually bought a new TV last year, and he just wanted a bigger TV. He didn't care about 4K, but he happened to buy a 4K TV just because that's what was available. But
and that's just what dads do.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. My dad was like, check out this gigantic TV I got. And I'm like, awesome. And he's like, it's 4K. I'm like, yeah, but cable channels don't display 4K. But, you know, I didn't want to burst his bubble.
I couldn't watch Matlock on it.
He's not that old yet, but he's getting there. All right, so going from rumors into predictions. What do you think, AJ? Like, what do you think is going to happen this year? Anything crazy? Any companies, just right off the bat before we get into each company here, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's going to be something big that happens this year that everyone will be talking about?
I'm sure there'll be a few announcements. Like last year there was that. Yeah, last year there was that Spider-Man game that they showed. That looks pretty awesome.
Oh, right, the Insomniac game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that looks great.
There might be some new games like that. That'll be awesome.
I hope so. I hope that they have a game that no rumors spoiled, nobody knew about, and they show it off, and we're just like, that's what I pine for during E3. That's what gets me excited, is when they actually have something that no one knew, they kept it behind closed doors, and everyone's like, oh wow, this looks great. It's that mysteriousness that I think is the most fun about it, you know?
Yeah, and there was that new From Software game trailer, so they might be making something awesome. Like they make Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
Yeah, wasn't it called Below or something like that?
No, I don't think they have a name for it yet, but they showed a trailer like a few weeks ago.
Oh, they did. I missed that.
But it was just like a split-second thing that was just like a picture of something, and then some text came on the screen. So nobody knows what it is or anything.
That's enough to get excited, though. I mean, people are rabid for From Software games, so I mean, anything they show, people are going to be like, oh, did you see that new From Software game?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Totally. You're a big Dark Souls guy, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I've had a hard time with the series. I respect it, but I'm planning on checking out the remaster when it comes out for Switch next month, and giving it another chance, because I feel like it's a series I would really get into if I just spent a little bit more time with it. I spent a few hours with it a few years ago, and it frustrated me because I don't know if I was tired, whatever the reason was, but it just didn't do much for me at the time.
Yeah, it takes a long time to actually get into it, but once you do, it's awesome. That trailer, it says shadows die twice, by the way, so that could mean anything.
Okay. It's kind of a cool idea, though. I like the name, Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be the name of the game or it means something, but I guess we'll find out, hopefully.
We'll find out next week. That's my crappy announcer voice.
All right, let's go to a commercial break.
Right, cut to commercial. As far as predictions go, yeah, I think that's a good one, and that's one that I would not have mentioned at all. And that sounds exciting because the From Software games are games I definitely want to get into. But as far as like other bigger companies, you know, it's one of those things where when we talk about Microsoft, for example, it's sort of like a do or die year for them. They absolutely need to show some stuff that's going to get people excited because they have the console, but what are we going to play on it? That's kind of what everybody's wondering.
Yeah. They'll probably turn out to be the new Sega.
I'd be okay with that, to be honest.
Yeah. Then Sega and Microsoft will be making games for PlayStation.
That's the utopia, right? And then Nintendo is bought by Sony as well, and
yeah, I think Nintendo will always just do their own thing.
I think they will too. I think Nintendo would rather close down than sell to somebody. They've had their losses with certain systems before, and it always seems like they always seem to come back with something. But even when everyone's like they're at their worst, they're gonna sell something, they're gonna be on Sony or Microsoft platforms, they come back and they just knock it out of the park with whatever they had brewing for the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, 2 out of their last 3 consoles are huge, right? Like the Switch and the Wii were the biggest consoles. It's just the Wii U that was kind of a bomb. But that's only because they called it the Wii U, I think. Because people just thought it was an expansion of the Wii, but it's its own console.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% blame the name of the console on that, because it's. I don't know if you actually owned one, AJ, but I owned one. I actually really like the console.
Yeah, I have it. I have it hooked up right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, it had a lot of great games on it, which you can now play on Switch. But
yeah, well, a couple of them.
So, not straying too far from the point though. For Microsoft, because we'll get to Nintendo in just a moment. With Microsoft though, I feel like they absolutely have to announce some first-party games that are going to get people excited. I don't know that Halo is going to be enough to do it for them. Halo is a big series. A lot of people love it. But if they announce a new Halo that'll be coming out at the end of the year, is that enough for them to, storm back and compete with Sony? Because Sony at this point is like miles ahead of them.
Yeah, I don't know. They'll have to do a lot.
I was actually pretty disappointed that they announced that Scalebound game they announced a few years ago was canceled, because that looked really interesting.
Oh, that's canceled now?
Yeah, they canceled that, I think, towards the end of last year, or maybe right before E3 last year, or sometime last year.
Well, maybe they'll announce more things this year that they'll cancel.
Always the optimist, I see. Yeah, let's hope. You know what? At least they'll give you something to pine for, even if it's a red herring. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I have a lot of I don't know how you want to put it, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to announce, because I've been a fan of Microsoft for a while with their, I was an Xbox 360 guy when it came out, and not that I'm a fanboy of any system. I love all of them, but I really hope that they're able to come out with stuff that'll get people excited, because right now so many people are dogging them, and it's unfortunate because they make really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they have a few things going for them. They have the Play Anywhere program. I think that's really underrated.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. Now that I have the PC thing going on my end, it almost gives me no reason to purchase an Xbox, because I can play all the games digitally through PC. So, if I want to get Sea of Thieves, I can play it right here.
Yeah, but why would you want to?
I guess that's a good point. I hear a lot of people who play that game actually enjoy it quite a bit. And I played the beta.
I'll have what they're having.
Yeah, no kidding, right? I played the beta. I had fun at the beta. But a friend of mine and me, when we played it for a good probably 4 hours. And then when the game came out, everyone was like, oh, it's just like the beta. And I said, okay, we did everything we could there, so I guess we're good. But hey.
Yep.
Sea of Thieves 2?
Hey.
All right, Sony. Moving on to Sony.
That's their golden banana right there.
Yeah, right. It's unfortunate, isn't it? You put all your stake into this one game. Like, Rare will bring us back. They're the makers of Banjo-Kazooie, and
they're the makers of all these games that you liked in the 90s.
Right. Remember 20 years ago, kids? I mean, adults? I mean, yeah, never mind. But moving on to Sony. Sony, as we mentioned, they don't really have to do much, do they? To kind of stay on top here. They just need to keep doing what they're doing. They're killing it.
Maybe they'll just have a dance number for their presentation. They don't have to do anything else.
Yeah, I think that's all they'd have to do. They could probably just show a bunch of Fortnite characters dancing, and that's it. They'd be good to go.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Yeah, who wouldn't? And then you'd buy it at the end too. Fortnite Dance Pack, buy it. It's on PS4, buy it. So they've come out and said though that they're only going to show 4 games. I guess they're going to show, I think, Last of Us 2. I think Days Gone might be in there somewhere, but they don't have a big showing. They said they literally are going to be like, hey, we're just going to dedicate a lot of time to these 4 games. But of course, there's probably going to be like, oh, and just one more thing, and they'll show that at the end as like a big reveal, I'm sure. But I don't know what to expect from them though, because maybe at this point they don't feel like they need to try as hard. That's why they're only going to show these 4 games that everybody knows already.
Yeah, I think they'll surprise people with something. What are the 4 games, by the way? There's Days Gone, Last of Us 2. What else?
There's 2 more.
But both of those games I'm not really excited about. Like, I played The Last of Us, and it was good. I thought the ending was pretty terrible. And the trailer for Last of Us 2, it was just so brutal. Like, I don't know. It was too over the top violent for me, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, a lot of people are with you on that, too, because a lot of people came out and said, hey, what's the deal with all the violence in this? Like, why? Like, Last of Us, the first game, I didn't play it, by the way, because I'm a big wuss when it comes to horror games and stealth games, and that had both, so that's not working for me.
Like, yeah, I usually hate horror games, but I ended up playing the first one. It was pretty intense. I enjoyed it.
That's cool. A friend of mine played it. Actually, he said the same thing. He's like, you gotta play it. It's great. Maybe someday. But that's what I say, just to pacify people. But the second trailer, remember, I think they unveiled it last year at E3, if I'm correct. And yeah, just the amount of reactions about how violent it was. And I got to agree, like, the first game, from what it sounded like, it was violent, but it wasn't about the violence. And they seemed to kind of showcase that in the second one.
Yeah, well, the first game was all about the zombie, whatever you want to call them, mushroom guys, like violence with them. But the Last of Us 2, the trailer had just humans just like breaking each other's bones and stuff. It's like, well, what the hell are you doing? Like, there's zombies around and you're like torturing each other. I don't know. I thought it was too much.
Yeah, it used to be about the vegan zombies, and now we got these people stepping in. Like, I think the trailer featured some woman, right? Wasn't she a villain or something? And I heard people saying, like, oh yeah, this is more like an 80s like Mad Max movie or something, with this woman popping in and going, I rule this town, and they totally break this guy's arm or whatever it was.
Yeah, just stick to the zombies. That's what people want.
It's that whole Walking Dead factor, though, where, once the zombies are forgotten about, then the humans start bickering and it turns into this big thing. And maybe that's where they're going with it. I don't know.
Yeah. Should do their own thing instead of copying Walking Dead.
Yeah. You hear that? Naughty Dog? Do your own thing.
Yeah, listen to me.
Yeah.
You're listening to this podcast, aren't you? Yeah. And that Days Gone, that's zombies too, right?
Yeah, so they like zombies. They're not plant vegetation zombies, but they're zombies.
So that's the trailer where there's like thousands of zombies and they're just running really fast and like a horde. Is that it?
Yeah, the very first trailer they showed, it was like some guy, and I think he was in like some kind of like lumber yard or something like that, and yeah, and he was trying to escape, and I was like, oh, okay, this is actually kind of cool. Like, I like the idea of, like, you literally have thousands of zombies running after you. What the hell are you gonna do? And I was like, yeah, what the hell would you do?
Yeah, that game seems like it has some neat ideas, but like they kept showing like little militias, like little American militias where they have their guns in the woods. And I don't know, that kind of put me off it. It's like, enough of that. But yeah, if it was just like one person trying to survive the zombies, and there was no like malicious stuff, I think it could be a really good game. But looking at that, because they showed gameplay of that, right? And when I was watching it, it just kind of put me off.
Yeah, the gameplay they show was a little sparse. I believe they showed like a real quick clip of a trailer last year, and like you said, that's when they showed the militia people, and they also showed the games, because what we had seen before looked beautiful. It was like this dusty lumber yard, the guy's on a motorcycle. You're like, wow, this looks really good, and there's 1,000 zombies on screen at the same time. Then they showed the next trailer the next year, and it was like, is this the same game? Because the graphics don't, for one, they don't look great. And for two, the setting is completely different. And like you said, there's these militia people. Like, where are the zombies at? The only way they kept me on board is they showed zombie bear. How do you beat that?
I guess a zombie lion.
I'd be okay with that. Zombie bear faces zombie lion.
It's a 2D fighting game.
Yeah. At that point, why even make the zombie game? Just let's make a zombie fighting game.
Yeah, save a few $1 million.
If maybe a few $100 million. I don't know how much they're spending on that game, but chances are, if it's been in development for this long, oof, oh boy, you can only imagine. And for it to be getting as bad a press as it's getting, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, it's better than it looks. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. All right, Sony. I apologize. The info is going to be scanned on what the other two games are, but I don't know if that bodes well for what the other two. Maybe they're new games. I don't know, but
maybe one of them Spider-Man.
It might be Spider-Man. I think you nailed it. So what's the fourth one? Dig into your bag of names and pull one out.
Spider-Man 2.
Crash Team Racing HD.
Hey, that would be great.
It might happen. They'll be like, oh, and one more thing.
And then they have a penguin and a go-kart come out on stage.
Better yet, like a bunch of people in penguin outfits on a go-kart. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, that penguin was the best.
I feel like before we move on, I just want to point out too that Microsoft and Sony are the two conferences that take themselves very seriously during E3. So I would love a little bit of levity like that.
Yeah, maybe one of the presenters will fart.
I'll welcome it. Please fart all you like, and then play Fart Night.
Yeah, it'll be a good lead into that.
Let's move on to the other big guy, Nintendo. Nintendo is already killing it with the Switch. I've heard that all of the games that they've re-released from the Wii U have been selling great. So I don't know what they've got up their sleeve. Nintendo, I feel like, is usually the best at keeping their games under wraps until E3 is actually happening. But I have no idea what they're going to go for this year. I know that they're going to be showing off Smash Brothers, but that can't be it. They're going to be showing off some other exciting things. People are saying the Star Fox Grand Prix game. I'm sure they'll show Fortnite if that's a real thing. And yeah, you know, what else could there be? I mean, the Metroid Prime 4 maybe?
Oh yeah, they did a teaser for that last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they just showed like a quick, 10-second teaser, like, here you go, Metroid Prime 4 in development.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And one thing that Nintendo does a lot is they announce their games in batches throughout the year. Like every few months, they'll be like, oh, here's 20 games that we have coming out. So hopefully they do that again at E3.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have a montage of, several games that are coming out. And what's even more interesting, though, is now that they do these directs where they announce so many games at once, the majority of these games that they announce come out within the next, 2 or 3 months. They rarely announce anything, that's further off. When they announced that Smash Bros was coming earlier this year, I was actually really shocked because I thought that they would save that for an E3 reveal and be like, and it's coming out this year, and people would go just nuts. But they announced it earlier this year, which I thought was a very interesting, bold move on their part. But I guess they wanted to get people excited early.
Yeah, and like I say, they're constantly announcing games. I don't think E3 is that big of a deal for Nintendo as it is for Sony and Microsoft, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right on a lot of different levels with that, because they started doing the direct for E3 instead of actually making, a presentation happen at the E3 center over there in LA. But yeah, ever since they started doing the direct, I feel like, their presence is still big, but it's not, like you said, they don't take it as seriously as Microsoft and Sony do. I do remember last year they did have a presence where they set up a booth, where this gigantic booth where they were showing off Mario Odyssey. So they had what Mario looks like as a tank, and what Mario looks like as a light post, and all this other stuff like set out throughout the whole area that they're at. And when you walk to the back, you can actually play Mario Odyssey, which I thought was really cool. So for them, it's less about the presentation and more about, at least to me, like getting people to come, show up, you know, feel like they're in the presence of Nintendo-ish stuff and play the game, you know?
Yeah, it should be fun. I think I thought of that fourth game for Sony, by the way.
Oh, okay. Let me rewind. What is it? What's the fourth?
Is it Death Stranding?
You know what? I think you're right. It is Death Stranding. You nailed it. I think you got the other two. I think it is Spider-Man and Death Stranding, which are the other two.
Yeah, I really hope they show more of that, because nobody really knows anything about it right now.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So Kojima, this is like his first big thing after Metal Gear Solid. No doubt whatever he was going to do, I mean, is going to sell like gangbusters, but is it going to live up to what people expect? I guess that's the main question.
Yeah, I mean, it looks weird, that's for sure.
It definitely looks weird. I'll give you that. I've watched a lot of avant-garde cinema in my time, and I've definitely embraced the weird when it comes to movies, and I really like how weird this is too. But I hope that it's not so weird that it doesn't make sense. I hope that it actually comes together as some kind of crazy sci-fi story that, you know, you could have read as a book and it makes sense, you know?
It's just a video game version of Eraserhead.
I would totally support that.
I'm assuming you've watched that if you're into those kinds of movies, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you know, the crying baby, though, it doesn't look so much like it does in Eraserhead, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it's in his throat, so...
Right, so there's that. That's a perk, so... Yeah, I've always had a feeling that Kojima was inspired a lot by David Lynch films, because he's done a lot of weird stuff with his games in the past. Like Metal Gear Solid, you know, it's always been a military game, but also there's like all this other insane crap going on at the same time. Are you a big Metal Gear fan yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I played the first one with a friend back when it came out, and I remember really enjoying just how quirky it was. And the second one with the same friend, we played a bit of that too. But I've never been like the biggest fan of the series, but I've always respected like the just insane nature of it, I guess.
Yeah, the whole series is just great.
Yeah, I've been very, very tempted to actually play Metal Gear Solid 5, the last in the series there, because I've heard it's the most playable of all of them. Like, it's the easiest to get into. So maybe at some point I will actually play that.
Yeah, the gameplay in it is outstanding. It's less focused on the narrative than the other ones, but it's definitely engaging. Like, every situation in it, you could just sit and think about how to do it for like half an hour and go about it in tons of different ways. It's so great.
So moving on from Death Stranding there, which, you know, again, looks really, really interesting. I'm really looking forward to see what they're going to show for that game specifically. And that may even be a PS4 seller for me. Like, that might be what gets me to buy a PS4 if it looks cool enough. Moving on from that, though, all of the other companies, the publishers, we do have Electronic Arts, their big game Anthem, that is supposed to be showed off a bit more this Saturday, I believe, is when they're going to be showing it off. And I know a lot of people are excited for this, but Electronic Arts has the tendency to want to cram microtransactions into every nook and cranny of their games. So I don't know if have you seen Anthem, AJ?
I haven't seen that. I think people give EA too hard of a time, especially because they put up an indie label recently. Yeah, they've been publishing some great indie games like, what's it called? Way Out. That colorful one, the 3D platformer, what's that called? Fee, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And Unravel. So it's like, yeah, on one hand, they do these shady microtransactions, but on the other hand, they do some pretty cool work with indie games. So, you know, I think they're a pretty cool company.
I actually really, really liked Unravel, and the rumors that they're going to be doing an Unravel 2, maybe?
Oh boy, that'd be awesome.
I don't know where they go, though. Like, how do they do the second one? Because the first one, you know, it kind of wraps up pretty tidily, you know, but...
Yeah, it'll be twine instead of yarn.
Twiny. They'll have the guy come out and he'll be like, "This is my new friend, Twiny. You remember Yarny. This is his cousin." I am looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Anthem, though. It's another online multiplayer game. I do have a crew of guys I do play with online, so we're always excited when new games do come out. But I really hope that they're not going to pull a Battlefield with that one, and hopefully they'll kind of stick to gameplay as opposed to microtransactions and loot boxes. And
so is that a first-person shooter again?
It's actually a third-person action game, from what I can tell.
Oh, okay. Now you have my attention.
There we go. Now we got them on board. Yeah, it looks really cool. It looks like it has a lot to do with planet exploration because it's a big futuristic sci-fi type of thing. But not much is known about it. They just showed a quick E3 teaser last year, and they plan to show off gameplay and everything this year. So it's one thing that I know everybody's looking forward to, including myself. So I hope it lives up to expectations.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye out for that one. Sounds good.
Yeah. Let's see here. We also have Bethesda, the guys who recently leaked or showed us Rage 2 after it was leaked. They're the guys who, they put out all kinds of stuff that people say they hate, but they actually like. They're going to be showing off a new Fallout game, Fallout 76 as well. But I don't know if there's going to be any surprises from them specifically. Are you happen to be a big Skyrim or Fallout fan yourself?
Not really, but I am curious if that Fallout game is going to be a spin-off or like a main, like full game.
Yeah, I am too. I have my doubts that it's going to be another full game because it seems too soon, but
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you never know with that team though. Like they always have something big cooking in the background. But the other thing I guess to keep in mind is that Fallout 76, it's not actually developed by Bethesda. I think it's developed by another development house. So this might be like a Fallout New Vegas situation where they gave all the assets to another company and they're making the game. So it might be another full-fledged game. You never know. So moving on from Bethesda, we have Ubisoft, which last year I think shocked everybody with their Mario Rabbids crossover game, which seemed pretty cool.
Yeah. It was a ripoff of two other games, though.
One is XCOM. What's the other one?
Chroma Squad.
Chroma Squad. I don't know that I played Chroma Squad before.
Well, it's an indie game that not many people have heard of, but it has that mechanic where you could boost each other. So, like, one character will move, and then another one could, like, jump on their head and then get a little boost. So it seems like that Mario Rabbids game took the core gameplay from XCOM and then incorporated that mechanic from Chroma Squad. So yeah, I never played it. I was too disappointed that they just ripped off two other games.
That is really unfortunate. I can assure you, though, it is a fun game, in case you ever feel like, But as we established earlier, AJ, ripping off, that's how you make the money.
Yeah, not my money, but that's how you make the money.
So I do wonder what else Ubisoft is going to show off. They'll probably show off their Just Dance, Just Sing stuff. Are they going to have another partnership thing with Nintendo? They're definitely going to show off the new Assassin's Creed. That's a given, but...
what did you say, Just Saying stuff? Is that a game?
They have Just Dance, which is where you literally you pick a song and then you have the controller and you just dance. It's in the title. AJ, it's in the title.
Yeah, but you said Just Saying stuff.
No, then they have Just Sing, where you have a microphone.
Oh, I thought, okay. So you said Just Dance and Just Sing stuff.
You got it.
Okay. I thought you said Just Saying stuff.
I was trying to...
It's a game where you just sit there and just blab about things.
That might be the new Ubisoft game. That sounds like a good one. Just say stuff.
Yeah. It's just someone on the TV screen just nodding as you just say stuff.
It sounds like most Twitch streams. All right, so moving on from that, the only other company we have left that I could think of at this point is Square Enix. Square Enix always has a really weird presentation every year because they feel like the kind of like you know who they are, but they're the punk band that no one goes to see anymore, and they just like play at the bar downtown. They don't really play the venues anymore.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a Final Fantasy 15 fishing game sequel.
Hey, yeah, we could always have another fishing sequel with Final Fantasy 15 dudes with no shirts on. I'm into it.
Sounds hot.
It always is. But I guess the only other thing they might show off is like the new Tomb Raider game, but that's already been outed. So if you're a Tomb Raider fan, you know.
Yeah, my wife plays this series. She loves it. I watch her. It's a great series.
I actually really like the 2 new games that they made.
Yeah, there's a lot of gunplay in them, but they're definitely awesome. Survival elements and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, in addition to ripping people off, the other way you are going to be successful is you need to put guns in your stuff. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So if you have Laura shooting guns, I mean, people are going to be like, hey, she's got guns now.
Well, she's always had guns, but
that's
she
true.
used to shoot at tigers and stuff, not people all the time.
Okay, so we'll change that to she has guns now and shoots people, because no one wants to shoot a tiger. Come on.
Maybe they'll just put her loose in a zoo.
No, all those poor endangered animals. Listen, there's plenty of humans to go around. Let her take care of those guys. They're bad people anyway. Leave the tigers alone. That's what I say.
All right, you Americans.
All right, well, I mean, that pretty much takes care of what may or may not be at E3. We can neither confirm nor deny what will be shown. But it's fun to talk about. And that's what we were here to do today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, AJ, go ahead.
I was going to say, we know there's going to be farting. That's for sure.
Okay, I take it back. We can confirm that there will be farting. And I believe it was on Sony's stage, if that's correct.
Yes, but we'll see if it spreads to the other stages.
The other thing kids will want to learn from this video is that farts are contagious. So one person farts, you better watch out. You may also get the farts.
Yes.
AJ, this is too fart heavy of an episode, I gotta say. Like, it's expect to talk about farts so much.
I'm sorry. I had Taco Bell for lunch.
That's what does it every single time. AJ, do you have any final thoughts on the show? Anything else that we didn't mention? Any other fart jokes you may want to tell me?
I think I'm all out. Just looking forward to seeing some gameplay. Show me gameplay, you stupid companies. Enough with the vague trailers and whatnot. I want to see Death Stranding in action. I want to see that From Software game. Yeah, give me gameplay. Gosh darn it.
100% gosh darn it. I absolutely hate CG trailers and I hate teasers. So enough of that crap. I want to see... I definitely want to see how Death Stranding plays. Please. Like, you can show me as, you know, as crazy as the game is. Doesn't mean anything until I can see, like, if it's fun, you know?
Yeah. So I guess we're both going to be disappointed.
And there you have it, everybody. Conclusion. You will be disappointed this E3.
CG trailers.
Yeah, CG trailers aplenty, I think. I am cautiously optimistic going into the show. I know that there are going to be a few games that I'm going to be excited about, but like I said, with all the leaks and all the other stuff going on this year, and a lot of toxicity from people commenting about the games that are being leaked and everything, big surprise in the gaming community. But regardless, like, it just doesn't have the same feeling this year as it has in past years. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
All they can do is just give us some surprises, I guess, at this point.
I hope to be surprised. I think that's all you can hope for in this life, though.
Yeah, that's it. That's all there is, just being surprised. That's why I'm always jumping out behind corners at people.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely smart to do, especially in public.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all I could say is thank you for listening to us ramble on, everybody. I had a good time, AJ. Thank you for joining. Would you mind letting everybody know where they can find you on Twitter and on the web?
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun. You just go to videochums.com. Got everything there. Some fun times. You'll have a fun time if you go to that site. Or not. I don't know. I don't really care. Don't go to the site. See if I care.
No, I will fully support. Please go to Vidoe Chums. It is a great site because not only will you find AJ there, you'll find me there doing some Nindy Nook episodes. But regardless, everybody, please check out Vidoe Chums. Join. Make some comments. This guy works really hard, does a lot of reviews, and he definitely deserves the, well, we'll say the attention. AJ needs a little more attention.
Yeah, I do. I cry myself to sleep every night.
All these video games and no one pays attention. No, it's great. Of course, everybody watching this, you know where to find me on YouTube here, but please follow me on Twitter at WatchGGRC. I promise I'll talk to you if you talk to me. But again, thank you for joining me, AJ. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully we could do this again during, you know, maybe an event that's not so big.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
All right, thanks. See ya.
GGRC.